President Ma, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Let me start by asking you the news of the moment. Of course, there are quite a few countries in your neighborhood unhappy with your moves on the island in the Spratlys, particularly Itu Aba. They are unhappy that you have been there and that this week you have taken a group of journalists, including, of course, our own colleague, as we've just seen in his report.
On January 28th, I went to Taiping Island, and later I arranged the media from home and abroad to visit Taiping Island, hoping the world will better understand the truthful situation there and will not be misled. And the facts should not be distorted. And this is critically important. As president of the ROC, I have to do it.
Mr. President, you say you have to do it and the facts are indisputable. But of course, as you know, there's a lot of dispute about the Spratly Islands. Philippines are angry with you. Vietnam is angry with you. The United States called your visit there extremely unhelpful to the situation. So the question is, are you being provocative? Are you doing China's bidding? Because it's about the only country that hasn't criticized you.
In 1946, the ROC recovered Taiping Island. Back at that time, Vietnam or the Philippines did not show any opinion. In 1956, we started to station our troops there. All the way until now, we have effectively controlled Taiping Island for 60 years. Sovereignty is, of course, one issue, but the reason why we went to Taiping Island, the more important task for us, our visit, is that we don't want Taiping Island, or we do not want the Permanent Court of Arbitration to diminish the legal status of the island into a rock. Simply put, we want to let the whole world understand the truth.
Mr. President, this is obviously going to be something that you will bequeath to your successor, President-elect Tsai. But I would like to ask you in the remaining, month or so, 2 months of your presidency, to reflect on why your party lost and to reflect on your, reach out to China, your, China policy, your trade pacts, that seemed to have had a backlash inside Taiwan. Do you read it that way as well?
Some people in Taiwan oppose to our mainland policy, but that only accounts for a small proportion, not a majority. On the January 26th presidential election, we all understand that over the past 8 years of my presidency, we have created a status quo. And this status quo has won the support from the majority.
How do you think mainland China, President Xi, is interpreting her election right now? What do you think he is thinking about this new president, who has potentially slightly different views than you do when it comes to relations with the mainland?
Mainland Chinese leader Xi Jinping over the past year stressed on several occasions that the 1992 consensus was the key. In this way, of course, we hope that my successor will carefully think about supporting the 1992 consensus. Therefore, cross-strait ties will move ahead smoothly. So when Taiwan tries to develop its international relations or in other respective, we can face a more friendly environment.
Do you accept, though, that despite the feelings of the majority of the Taiwanese people, that there is a new generation now feeling more nationalistic, feeling more inclined to being a full-blown democracy, as your country is showing that it's maturing from a dictatorship into a full-blown democracy? Do you believe that things might change in the future, or will it stay as it is like right now?
I believe that the people of Taiwan would support a free and democratic political system and hopes that the Republic of China will continue to become free and democratic. However, while we develop relations with mainland China, we have to establish a mutually accepted consensus so that this relationship will move ahead peacefully and smoothly.
Mr. President, you had a historic meeting with the President of China, Xi Jinping, in Singapore. How was that? How did you feel meeting the president of mainland China? I believe it was the first time in nearly 50 years that two leaders had met.
On November 7th last year, I went to Singapore to meet with mainland Chinese leader Xi Jinping. This marks the very first time for leaders from both sides to meet ever since both sides were under the rule of different governments 66 years ago. It's not only symbolic, because in other respects, including using Taiwan as a transit for mainland tourists and allowing mainland China's vocational students to study in Taiwan and to continue the negotiation for trade and goods agreement. I propose all these important points to Mr. Xi, and also mainland China's military deployment and Taiwan's suppression from mainland China in the international community. I also call upon Mr. Xi to propose some policies to improve the situation. On these occasions, we have frankly put forth these questions and hoping each other could work hard to move toward a better direction. And I believe this was a wonderful opportunity. In particular, when I established this high-level cross-strait bridge of peace for leaders from both sides.
Mr. President, did you get the impression that President Xi would use all means necessary to keep Taiwan really part of China, or, as others have suggested, that he will go along with what increasingly looks like a one-party fiction, one China fiction?
During the discussion, Mr. Xi and I both understood that both sides across the Taiwan Strait did not have the conditions for unification, but I also want to tell Mr. Xi that the one China respective interpretations we adhere to. We will not engage in two Chinas, one China, one Taiwan, or Taiwan independence. Our interpretation will be based on the ROC Constitution, that is the Republic of China. Mainland China always wanted to reunite with Taiwan, and it has never given up the idea. But they also have to reach consensus with Taiwan so that both sides can continue to move ahead peacefully and prosperously in the future. Because in the past, no mainland Chinese leader would like to sit down with a leader from the ROC to forget about their titles and the name of the country and to have 1 or 2 hours of conversation and to talk about some practical or theoretical issues to reach some consensus. This for Taiwan, for the region, and for the world is also conducive. The U.S. State Department also expressed its welcome because the improvement of cross-strait ties is also a very important factor for us to improve relationship with the United States. If we can make good use of it, then Taiwan, for Taiwan, for the region, and for the world, it has created positive effect because most of the comments on the Ma Xi meeting are positive.
On that note, President Ma, Ying-jeou, thank you so much indeed for joining us from Taiwan. Thank you indeed.
Thank you, Ms. Amanpour. Hope to see you again.